So here's an entertaining short story or post about a gal, 50-year-old woman, who's having a full-blown temper tantrum, even at 50 years old, because the guy that she was seeing, who she claims she really liked, isn't interested anymore because of finding out about her number, or after a conversation that her number is quite high. And she's gone to Reddit to basically, go on a psychotic rant. And it'll be a funny one to go over here, guys, just to show you how they can react to that thing. And I can't make it any more clear just how many women will break up with guys over the smallest infraction. A man has any reason to stop seeing any woman he wants to, he has that right. And if they don't like it, too bad. And oh yeah, by the way, someone's past does matter, because their past certainly will demonstrate how things typically are going to go in the present and the future. Period. And with regards to a certain number that people have been with and partners and all that, well, guess what? There's a point where the scientific study about pair bonding is accurate. And usually with someone that has a massive past, cheating can be involved, cheating can happen, stuff like that, and just it's not a good place. Titled, Body Count Conversation and Then Dumped, Blocked and Deleted. Shout out to Jose for sending in this story. She says, I'm 50 years old. I started dating the sweetest guy, a 41-year-old male from Tinder, and we absolutely hit it off from the first date and went exclusively pretty quickly. Yeah, we'll smack to him for thinking there's going to be anything great with a woman from Tinder. Of course she's on Tinder, and you're going to see soon. We had gotten tested. We're pretty good in bed together, and he spent about 3 nights a week with me. We had a lot of open and frank conversations in the beginning regarding our sexuality. And at some point, we had the body count conversation, referring to why is it a big deal. And in my opinion, especially at our age, no one has the right to ask such a question. It's effing ridiculous to ask. Says the gal who obviously has a very high number. Yes, it doesn't make a difference what your age is. People have a right to know, both ways. Just the same way that she has a right to know she's getting involved with him, things about his past. So he shared his number voluntarily and asked mine, and I refused. 1, I honestly don't know, and 2, I did go to college and I have some lost years in my 20s. She doesn't know. Lost years, huh? And 3, I'm a serial monogamist. I get in years plus relationships and stay with my partners and are monogamous with them for those years. So what's the big deal about the number? Well, I've gone on and on plenty of times about the big deal, and I said some of it in the beginning, so I'm not going to repeat it. But those of you who watch regularly, you know why it's a big deal. And oh, by the way, guys, the second part of this whole story is the comment section. All the people came out of the woodwork that are like her defending her. Well, fast forward 6 weeks. We are getting on great. I get back from the vacation. I wait for him to get off work early, and he has a few at the bar before he comes over. We're getting along okay, and all of a sudden, that number question starts arising. Say he wasn't good with her answer. She wouldn't give an answer because she couldn't. And I keep answering that I don't know. It's not your business, and it shouldn't matter. It is his business if they're getting serious, and it does matter. She says, I'm with you, and we have a great SCX life. I don't cheat normally, and why would I? So why do you need to know? Hear what she said? I don't cheat normally, meaning that she does cheat on occasion, a history of it. That's a problem with people that are problems with pair bonding, because oftentimes they have such a big number, they become, one, they can't really pair bond with a guy very well, or girl, and also they have a hard time, obviously, when they get the itch, if you will, right here. Maybe this is why she's a serial monogamist, because she can only do relationships so long before she needs the excitement of something new, like a new toy. And then the math and effing algebra that comes out of this fucker's mouth. Basically, SLUT shaming me because I've been single for a year. I've dated him, the number 4 guy, longer than a month, and most of my partners are on average 2 to 3 months. Of course, I'm physical, being that I'm single and dating. So the math works out in 4 years of a single-ish 10 to 15 people, which is like 90% of his total number in his whole life. So she's saying 10 to 15 people in 4 years. So 10 to 15, well, which one is it? And you know that ain't the number. He was married for 15 years prior to divorcing last year and slept with 3 women since, and me. So now I'm refusing to answer any questions and telling him he can leave or he can sleep it off, and it sort of dies down and comes up every 10 minutes or so. He's upset, but I keep saying let it go, because he's incorrect about the number and it's none of his business. She wrote none of his business in giant capital letters. It is his business if he's getting serious with her, if there's any kind of future. And I'm not going to keep explaining why, but gals like this will always defend it and say that it doesn't matter, if we're taking tests and stuff like that. The fact that she said I don't always cheat, or whatever she said, I don't cheat normally, right there. Right there. We finally crash out and get up in the morning. He's dying to get out of there. He's anxious and he pissed me off. I tell him I'm super pissed, but we can talk later about this. He texts me a few hours later and apologized again for drinking too much and being rude. I say we'll talk about it later when you come by. This is a Thursday morning. By the way, guys, it's pouring raining here. Thanks for bearing with me with the noise. Springtime. Thank the Lord we're getting rain. Well, he doesn't come by and doesn't respond to my texts. She's ghosted and dumped. So now I'm pissed off. Like every minute ticking by, I'm more and more pissed off. I feel humiliated, SLUT shamed, and just so mad that the man I felt so connected to, who I talked to several times a day, who I truly cared for, is totally judgmental to me and something that I can only control going forward. Well, she said she's a serial monogamist, so I'm sure she'll have no problem moving on to somebody else. She would have gotten bored anyway. I was falling so hard for this dude. Come on. I think she falls in love with falling in love, if you will. So I sent a text explaining my hurt and broke up with him over text. He demonstrated by ghosting you, not showing up, that it was over. But she had to have the last word. I said I don't want to see him or speak to him because I know I might cave, and I cared for and trusted him, and just by pushing me away on this topic and being so rude, he broke my trust, only because he was drunk. There's no excuse for that. And then to save me from torturing him via text, I deleted his number after blocking him. I feel so immature for blocking and deleting and blocking, but damn, I'm hurt, and my brothers and sisters. I'm just here to vent and rant, and just to say that you aren't born the day you met your partner. Everybody has a history. You should really only care what you have learned, not how many people you learn from. Okay, Yoda. Well, anyhow, so someone like this, who obviously has been around the block more times than she even knows, well, she needs to be with a guy like this. And the best thing she can do in this situation is been honest with him. I'm sure she has a much better idea what her number is than she's letting on. But obviously it's so high, and I'm sure it isn't just with one dude. I'm sure you never know. It could be all dudes, or it could be a few dudes all at the same time, throw in a girl, who the hell knows? But the point is, she should have been honest with him. At least then, because by her not telling him, that made him more curious. Just the same way that women have a right to know things about guys, for heaven's sake, that they're seeing. Now, I'm going to read a few comments. Like I said, and just to make my point, everybody's come out of the woodwork that's kind of like her. Now, I'm just going to read them for fun. This first one's from a woman, of course. She says, some men are insecure a-holes with a heavy dose of double standards. When you're a prude if you don't sleep with them. You're a WHOR if you do. High count for men, hot stuffing. But for women, the judgment. He seems too immature for someone as sexually confident as you and jumped into his own conclusion about you. You knew the word insecure was going to be in there. Here's another one. This is from a guy. A guy that's a total kiss-ass, probably trying to get her approval. This guy says, I don't think I would have asked that question or even thought about it beyond the age 22. It's not something that should matter whatsoever to an emotionally mature, intelligent person. I'm so sorry this happened, OP, but also relieved for you that you dodged a big one. He probably won't have shown his colors as controlling and insecure dude with double standards for men and women. That's from a guy. What do you want to bet this guy has a man bun or has skinny jeans or a man purse or something? He's one of those types, which, to no surprise, not going to get girls like that. Not that he'd want to. Another one, this is from a chick. She said, what do you mean I don't cheat normally? No, this guy's calling her out on her crap. This guy says, what do you mean I don't cheat normally? The body count thing didn't bother me. It was that statement. No need to get into a conversation about that, but if you did cheat, then I lost respect for you as I read on. Yeah, a lot of people caught on to that. And last one, this is from a gal. She says, I'm so sorry this happened to you. It's both painful and rage-inducing. Just remember this. You did nothing wrong. You handled yourself with integrity, maturity, and openness, and despite this not working out, you're being brave putting yourself out there. Stunning and brave. Trying to find love at our age is not easy, especially when you develop feelings for clueless idiots like this man. But don't give up, you honestly sound amazing. How was she full of integrity and maturity and openness when she wouldn't give him the number? I didn't hear anything about a number. And given how she admits that she does cheating from time to time, probably when she gets bored, doesn't sound like much integrity and all that crap. But anyhow, guys, there you go. Another temper tantrum over the whole number thing. The best thing you can do, honestly, this is to any women that's watching this, is just lay the cards on the table. It may not be too popular and may get rejected, but at least you're being honest. She only made it worse by getting acting. In fact, the fact that she got so defensive about it and pissed off, that it made me more curious. That probably just piled the number up. But a guy, just like women will break up with a guy or stop seeing him for various infractions, and a lot of times they're very small infractions, a man has the right to break up with her and stop seeing her too, regardless of how they like them. There you go.